Chosen one. Pause right here. Don't rush past this moment. The noise of the world can wait. But this word is for you directly from heaven's heart. This is not coincidence. This is divine timing. Every rejection, every unanswered prayer, every lonely night was leading you right here. You have spent years wondering why people walked away, why doors closed the moment you knocked, why love seemed to find everyone else but you. You've questioned your worth, your purpose, even your faith. But listen, the world's rejection was not God's rejection. It was His redirection. He was never punishing you. He was preparing you. You were hidden because you are holy. You were overlooked because you are overqualified for ordinary. The world couldn't recognize you because you carry heaven's fingerprint. From the very beginning, when others saw failure, God saw foundation. You are the one He set apart, shaped by rejection, but chosen for redemption. As spoken in the book of Psalms, chapter 118, verse 22, the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. That verse is your story. You are that stone. The people who dismissed you didn't realize they were pushing away what heaven had chosen to build upon. The rejection was necessary to reveal your resilience. The pain had to shape you before the purpose could crown you. You see, being chosen isn't glamorous, it's gritty. It means carrying the weight of divine assignment when no one claps for you. It means walking by faith when you don't see results yet. It means being mocked, doubted, and misunderstood, while heaven quietly whispers, "Keep going. They don't see what I placed inside you." Every tear has been recorded. Every silent night of confusion has been seen. You weren't forgotten in the wilderness. You were refined there. The wilderness is where the noise dies and the voice of God becomes clear. It's where false identities fall off and the true anointing awakens. You had to lose some people so you could find your purpose. You had to be rejected by man so you could be revealed by God. Listen carefully what they threw away. Heaven is about to raise up what they called broken. God is calling chosen. What they thought was finished, heaven is about to resurrect. The same mouths that said, "You're not enough," will soon have to testify. Surely the hand of God is upon them. Chosen one, you carry something sacred. The reason people misunderstood you is because your spirit speaks a language their flesh cannot interpret. They saw your potential as a threat, not realizing it was grace, not pride, that covered you. You carry light in a world that's addicted to shadows, and light always exposes what darkness tries to hide. That's why rejection followed you. It was recognition. Hell recognized your calling before you did. The enemy saw your future influence and tried to crush your confidence early. But what he didn't understand is that pressure doesn't destroy a diamond, it defines it. And you, yes, you, are God's diamond cut, refined, and ready to shine. Right now, heaven is shifting things in your favor. The tables are turning. What was meant to destroy you is becoming the stage for your divine unveiling. Every delay was protection. Every no was a setup for a better yes. The season of being hidden is coming to an end. Heaven is calling your name for elevation. Don't give up now. Don't silence your faith because of temporary rejection. God is not finished with you. The same God who called David from the fields and Joseph from the prison is calling you from obscurity into visibility. The same God who turns rejected stones into cornerstones is turning your pain into platform. You may not see it yet, but something in the spirit is shifting. The heavens are aligning. You're about to understand why the attacks were so heavy, because your anointing is that strong. You were not born to be accepted by everyone. You were born to be chosen by God. So, lift your head. You are not forgotten, not forsaken, not finished. You are chosen. The rejection that once wounded you is now becoming the proof of your divine election. The world may not understand, but heaven celebrates. If this word speaks to your spirit, act on it. Don't just feel it. Let heaven see your agreement. Comment 777 as a prophetic declaration that you accept your identity as the chosen one. And before you leave, remember, this is only the beginning. Like, share, and subscribe so this message can awaken another soul who feels forgotten. The world rejected you, but God has chosen you, and that changes everything. You were marked from the beginning. Before you ever took your first breath, heaven whispered your name into eternity. You were never a mistake, never an afterthought, never an accident. The fingerprints of God were already on your destiny long before the opinions of people ever touched your life. The rejection you faced didn't define you. It only confirmed that you were carrying something different, something divine. There is a reason your spirit never fit inside ordinary spaces. You've always felt the edge of something eternal pressing against the limits of this world. You sensed it in your childhood, when you dreamed in ways others called impossible, when your heart broke deeper than others could understand, when you saw beauty in places where others only saw pain. It wasn't sensitivity, it was sight. Heaven gave you a lens that this world doesn't possess. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 49, verse 1. The Lord called me before I was born. While I was in my mother's womb, He named me. That verse carries the truth of your origin. You were not an accident of time, but a design of eternity. God didn't discover you. He destined you. Before you could cry your first word, heaven had already written your purpose. And though rejection tried to erase your confidence, the name God gave you cannot be cancelled by the world. From the moment you were born, the enemy recognized you. He saw the mark, the glow, the heavenly authority written into your being. That's why attacks came early, before you even knew who you were. The enemy's goal was simple: distort your reflection before you discovered your identity. If he could convince you that you were unworthy, he could keep you from realizing that you were chosen. But he failed. Because even when you questioned your value, God never did. Even when you walked through betrayal, confusion, and heartbreak, heaven never withdrew its hand. Every wound you endured became a secret signature of purpose. The pain wasn't punishment, it was proof that you were being set apart. You see, ordinary people can live ordinary lives without much resistance, but the chosen face pressure that doesn't make sense. That's because you were never meant to live by logic. You were born to live by faith. Your path is not measured by convenience, but by calling. You walk a narrow road, not because you are cursed, but because you are commissioned. Sometimes you wondered why it seemed like others advanced faster than you. They built what you dreamed of, achieved what you prayed for, and yet something in you knew that you couldn't chase what they had. You weren't meant to copy. You were meant to carry something new. God was never trying to delay you. He was developing depth inside you. Think back to the moments when life tried to break you. Those times when tears blurred your vision and you thought you'd never stand again. Look closer, those moments didn't destroy you, they refined you. The fire didn't consume you, it revealed what couldn't be burned. That's the mark of the chosen. They bend, but they do not break. They bleed, but they do not back down. The world saw you as fragile, but God saw a fortress. You were chosen not because you were perfect, but because you were willing. Heaven does not seek the flawless, it seeks the faithful. And you, through every trial and test, kept choosing to believe, even when belief cost you everything. There is a hidden strength in you that's been waiting for recognition. You've carried questions, doubts, and fears. Yet still, you moved forward. That quiet endurance is what separates the chosen from the comfortable. It's not loud. It's not glamorous. But it's powerful. Heaven applauds the persistence that hell cannot silence. So when you feel the weight of loneliness, remember, it is not punishment. It is preservation. God isolates before he elevates. The hidden season was not wasted. It was sacred. The oil of your anointing was produced in the crushing, not in the comfort. You were marked long before anyone ever called you by name. And though the world may not see it yet, heaven has already announced it. You are chosen, sealed, and sent. The same power that called stars into being is the same voice that calls you forward now. Step into it, not with fear, but with quiet confidence. The mark you carry is not a burden, it's a banner. You are not walking into uncertainty, you are walking into prophecy fulfilled. The silence is breaking. The waiting is over. Heaven is ready, and your name is being called forth now. The season of rejection was not your end, it was the soil of your beginning. What you thought was loss was actually divine pruning. Every time something was taken from you, it was heaven making room for what would last. You didn't fail, you were being formed. There were nights you lay awake asking why you were never enough for the people you loved. You tried to change yourself, to shrink, to soften, to fit into spaces that could never hold your calling. But listen, now God never asked you to fit in. He asked you to stand out. He didn't design you for comfort, he shaped you for calling. The loneliness, the silence, the rejection. It was all preparation. The people who walked away were not meant to understand you. Their absence was protection, not punishment. God separated you, not because you were unworthy, but because he was sanctifying what he placed inside you, as written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 15. Though you were forsaken and hated, with no one traveling through, I will make you the everlasting pride and the joy of all generations. Do you hear that? The very places where you were mocked will become monuments of mercy. The same mouths that gossiped about your fall will have to witness your rise. The same roads where you walked alone will echo with the sound of praise. That's how heaven writes redemption through reversal. You thought you were being punished when people ignored you, but really, God was promoting you through silence. When the applause stopped, heaven began to speak. When the crowd disappeared, the voice of destiny became clear. You learned that divine approval is worth more than public attention. So many times, you looked at others and wondered, why not me? But heaven was whispering, not yet. You weren't being denied, you were being developed. There's a difference between rejection and redirection. Rejection wounds your pride. But redirection refines your purpose. Every delay you've faced has been a divine appointment. Every heartbreak was heaven pulling you closer. The people who left didn't take your worth with them. They only made space for the ones who will recognize your value without being told. And now, the tide is turning. The same world that turned its back on you will soon see the evidence of what God was doing in secret. Every no you received was leading you to a better yes. Every door that closed was pushing you toward the one designed just for you. You are not the same person you were when rejection first broke you. You've become wiser, deeper, more dangerous to darkness. The pain didn't destroy your light, it concentrated it. You are stepping into a season where rejection no longer triggers pain, but gratitude. Because now you see. Without it, you wouldn't have known who you truly are. And now, right here, take a moment to seal this in your spirit. Comment, "I'm still standing." Lati, write it. Not as words to a screen, but as a declaration to the heavens. Those 3 words carry power. They say, "I survived what was meant to bury me." They say, "My rejection did not remove my purpose." They say, "I am still chosen." Lati, when you write it, something in the unseen realm shifts. You align yourself with the truth that every setback was a setup for a greater comeback. You declare to every past wound, "You no longer define me." Let that simple act be your agreement with heaven. Say it with conviction. You are still standing not by luck, not by strength, but by grace. And that grace is about to turn every rejection into recognition. You don't need to understand how it will happen. You just need to believe that it will. Because the same God who allowed the rejection is the same God who will use it as your redemption story. So, walk forward with peace. The pain had a purpose, and the silence was sacred. The rejection was never rejection at all. It was redirection from the hand of a loving God. You've walked through rejection's fire and come out shining. Every scar now glows like gold under heaven's light. What once broke you has built you. What once silenced you has turned into your sacred song. When you type those words, "I'm still standing," you're not just commenting, you're prophesying. You're saying to every season that tried to end you, "You failed." You're choosing victory, not victimhood. And heaven witnesses that courage, so write it boldly, "I'm still standing." It's your anthem, your testimony, your reminder that no rejection was wasted. God used every tear to water the garden of your destiny now coming to life. Hidden in the wilderness. That's where God does his deepest work. You thought isolation was punishment, but it was actually preparation. When no one was calling your name, heaven was writing it on eternity's scroll. You weren't forgotten, you were being refined. The wilderness is never comfortable. It strips away your pride, your distractions, your illusions of control. It confronts the false versions of yourself that the world taught you to wear. Out there, in the silence, you discover who you are without applause, without titles, without validation. It's where the voice of God grows louder than the noise of people. When everything familiar fades, what remains is what's real. The wilderness is God's classroom. Every dry season is a lesson in trust. You learn to depend on manna, just enough grace for one more day, just enough strength for one more step. You begin to realize that what seemed like lack was actually training. Heaven was teaching you how to live on divine supply, not human support. In those quiet, endless days when you felt invisible, you were never truly alone. The same presence that led Moses through the desert and Elijah through the drought was beside you, whispering, "Don't give up yet. This is not the end, it's the making." According to the book of Hosea, chapter 2, verse 14, "Therefore I will allure her, I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her." Those words hold mystery and mercy. The wilderness is not where God's voice is absent, it's where his tone becomes tender. He draws you away from noise to speak to you, heart to heart. He isolates you to reintroduce himself, not as distant king, but as gentle father. You may remember those nights when you sat in silence, questioning everything: your purpose, your future, even your faith. The world labeled it loneliness, but heaven called it intimacy. God was teaching you to love his presence more than people's approval. The silence you feared became the sanctuary of revelation. He stripped away your dependencies so you could learn the truth. When everything else fades, he remains. And in that stillness, your eyes began to open. You started to notice the small miracles, a sunrise that felt like a promise, a whisper that reminded you of hope, the way peace began to return, in moments you couldn't explain. The wilderness also teaches patience. In that waiting, your roots grow deeper. God delays public exposure because he wants private strength. A tree planted too quickly with shallow roots falls when the storm comes. But the one that grows in secret stands for generations. You are that tree rooted by rivers you cannot see. Every unanswered prayer in that season was not silence. It was strategy. God was aligning the right time, the right connections, the right breakthroughs. The wilderness is heaven's workshop, where the blueprint of your destiny is drawn in invisible ink. You only see it when you look back and realize everything that didn't work out was actually protection. And maybe there were days you shouted into the wind, "Where are you?" God, he was closer than your breath. He was standing in the middle of your pain, molding your character, refining your faith, removing what couldn't follow you into your next season. Sometimes the greatest blessings are wrapped in stillness, in the wilderness. You learn to stop performing for love and start receiving it freely. You learn that purpose isn't proven through activity, but through authenticity. You stop chasing validation and start valuing presence. Now you understand why he hid you. Not to break you, but to build you. Not to silence you, but to sharpen your voice. When you finally emerge from that hidden place, you won't look the same. The wilderness will have marked you with humility, wisdom, and quiet strength. And when people see you again, they'll sense something different. They won't be able to explain it, but they'll feel the weight of someone who's been with God. That's what happens when heaven trains you in secret. The glow of his presence never leaves you. So don't despise the hidden place. Cherish it, because the silence you once feared is the very sound that shapes destiny. In the wilderness, you don't lose yourself. You find who you were always meant to be. When you walk out of the wilderness, you won't need to announce it. Your peace will speak louder than words. What once felt empty will overflow with quiet. Undeniable purpose. The wilderness was never your prison, it was your proving ground. Every silence was strategy. Every tear, an ingredient in your transformation. Now, your hidden season becomes your greatest strength. You've walked through the valley of rejection long enough. The echoes of what people said about you have faded. And now, a new sound rises, heaven's recognition. You've been through the shadows, through nights that felt endless, through seasons that stripped you of everything you thought defined you. And now, heaven says, it's time. This is the moment when what was hidden becomes seen. The very battles that tried to break you have become the evidence of your becoming. You've carried pain in silence, but that pain has become oil, pure, costly, and fragrant. When God looks at you, He doesn't see the shame others saw. He sees preparation. Every scar on your heart is now shining like armor. Every tear has watered the soil where your purpose is now about to bloom. We find in the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of Him who called you out of darkness into His marvelous light. Oh, that's who you are now. Not the one who was rejected, but the one chosen to reflect light. You've moved from surviving to shining. Heaven knows your name. And now the earth will too. But hear this truth. Recognition is not about fame, it's about responsibility. To be recognized by heaven is to be trusted with purpose. God never elevates you to make you comfortable. He elevates you to make you useful. He didn't rescue you from the storm just to sit you in silence. He's raising your voice because someone out there still believes they're unworthy. Forgotten, unseen. You are their sign that God still chooses the rejected, still redeems the broken, still crowns the ones who were cast aside. This message, you are hearing this light reaching you across the screen or the speaker, is part of that recognition. Heaven used technology, time, and even this moment to find you. You might not realize it, but right now, your obedience to listen is part of a divine exchange. The same light that found you through someone else is waiting to flow through you to another. So as you listen, take a breath. Feel that gentle warmth in your chest. That's not emotion, it's confirmation. Heaven is saying, you're ready to carry this light forward. You will. And when you do, remember this: every act of kindness, every prayer whispered, every seed sown becomes a ripple in the kingdom. Some carry the message with their words, others with their generosity, others by simply sharing what touched them. Each way is sacred. Each way matters. If this message has touched your heart, let it travel. Tap the heart as a spark of gratitude, like striking flint to stone. Each like is a small flame that helps this light travel farther. Share it as if you were passing a lantern through the dark, so someone else can find their path home. Subscribe, not out of habit, but as an act of staying close to the fire that keeps your own spirit warm. And if your heart ever whispers to give, let that whisper be free. Think of giving as planting a seed into the soil of light. Your gift becomes a branch on the tree that shelters another soul. No pressure, no condition, only choice. When love moves you, sow it. When gratitude fills you, release it. That is how heaven multiplies light through human hands. So yes, like, share, subscribe, and if led, donate, but do it as worship, not obligation, as overflow, not debt. Every gesture you make becomes another drop of oil that keeps this lamp burning for those still walking in the dark. You are walking proof that the world's rejection cannot silence heaven's choice. You are the light now, the evidence that what was once broken has become beautiful. Keep shining, keep walking, and let your story remind others that they too are seen, known, and chosen. You will soon see how every wound was a window, how the cracks that once made you weep. Now let heaven's light pour through you. The very pain that tried to silence you will become the melody that wakes sleeping souls to hope again. Your journey is not ending, it is unfolding. Every step forward pulls you closer to the reason you survived. Keep walking with open hands and an unguarded heart. Heaven writes in motion, not in stillness. What's ahead will make sense of what hurt. And as you go, remember, light doesn't argue with darkness, it simply shines. You are that light now chosen, refined, unstoppable. Let your life become a living echo of grace that whispers into every heart, still waiting to believe. The mirror of identity, this is where the battle truly begins. It's not the world outside that confuses you. It's the reflection inside that whispers lies. For so long, you've seen yourself through the eyes of rejection, through the cracked lens of comparison, through the bruises of your past. But heaven is standing beside you now, saying, look again. You have looked into the mirror and seen what they said about you too much, too little, too late. But what heaven sees is completely different. You see scars, God sees stories. You see weakness, God sees wonder. You see mistakes, God sees mercy in motion. The image you've carried of yourself was painted by pain, not by purpose. And today, heaven wants to restore the true reflection. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 3. I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. That love doesn't expire. It doesn't weaken when you fall short or fade when others walk away. It's a love that stays, that follows you into the shadows, that refuses to let go even when you do. For too long, you believed you had to earn worthiness. You thought, if you could just be good enough, strong enough, perfect enough, then maybe you deserve love. But the truth is, God loved you before you did anything right, and He hasn't stopped since you did things wrong. His love isn't a reaction to your behavior, it's the reason you're still breathing. The mirror of this world shows flaws, the mirror of heaven shows purpose. When you start seeing yourself the way God does, shame loses its grip. The words that once broke you lose their power. You begin to walk differently, talk differently, live differently, not because you're pretending, but because you finally remember who you are. You are not what they said about you. You are not what failed. You are not what left. You are not what you lost. You are who God says you are: redeemed, restored, renewed. The labels the world tried to glue to your soul are peeling off now. God's truth is replacing every lie. Maybe you've been afraid to look closely, afraid of what you might see. But heaven whispers, face it, and you'll find me there. When you look at yourself through grace, you'll discover that even your broken pieces reflect His light. The cracks don't disqualify you, they reveal where the light escapes. So today, take one more look in that mirror, not with judgment, but with wonder. See the survivor who refused to quit. See the warrior who walked through storms and still sings. See the child who was once lost but has now been found. That's the real you, the one heaven always saw. Even when you couldn't, You were created in the image of the infinite. Nor rejection, nor failure. No voice can erase that truth. You are a walking reflection of divine craftsmanship. Every time you rise again, heaven sees its handiwork and says, "That's mine." And now, it's time to make a declaration. Let your spirit agree with heaven. Comment 999, a number of finality and new beginnings. It's a prophetic act that says, the false image ends here. The true me begins now. And when you type it, you're not performing, you're proclaiming. You're saying, I no longer see myself through rejection. I see myself through redemption. You're declaring that the mirror of pain no longer defines your identity. The mirror of grace does. The world taught you to hide your flaws, but heaven uses them to prove authenticity. Your scars are not your shame, they are your signatures. They tell the story of a love that refused to let you disappear. Every time you doubt your worth, remember this: mirrors can reflect only what stands before them. So stand tall. Stand as the chosen one you are. Stand as proof that God's love can rebuild what the world tried to erase. Look again. What you see is not broken, it's becoming. What you feel is not emptiness, it's expansion. Heaven has already called you worthy. Now it's time for you to believe it too. When you type 999, see it as more than numbers. It's your soul signing heaven's agreement. It means the old reflection fades, and a new identity, radiant and fearless, takes its place. That number says, I release my past. It's a whisper to the divine. I accept who you say I am. Each digit becomes a door opening to restoration, strength, and unshakable peace. So write 999 boldly. Not for me, but for you. Let it echo through eternity that you've seen your true reflection, and now you finally believe it's beautiful. The enemy's fear of you began long before you ever knew your own strength. He saw your light before you learned to recognize it. He knew that if you ever truly discovered who you were, the darkness would lose its grip. That's why the warfare in your life has felt personal. It is, you have been a target not because you are weak, but because you are dangerous to hell's agenda. From the moment you started to dream, resistance rose. From the moment you decided to heal, distractions multiplied. And every time you tried to rise, something tried to pull you back down. But listen carefully, the presence of opposition is proof of assignment. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't a threat. He only fights what carries fire. You might not realize it, but your very existence disrupts darkness. Your presence in a room shifts the atmosphere, not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you. Heaven's mark on your life is visible in the spirit realm, and that's why the attacks have been intense. Hell recognized your name long before the world did. There were moments you felt surrounded, trapped, or overwhelmed. But even then, you didn't see the full picture. The same God who allowed the storm also placed boundaries on it. The enemy was permitted to roar, but not to devour. You were never alone in that battle. You were protected in it. The ancient words recorded in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14, remind us, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Oh, that verse isn't just comfort, it's revelation. You were never asked to fight every battle in your own strength. You were asked to stand in stillness while heaven fought on your behalf. Stillness doesn't mean inaction, it means confidence. It's the posture of those who know who holds the victory. Think about it. Every attack that was designed to destroy you ended up deepening your faith. Every betrayal strengthened your discernment. Every closed door redirected your focus. The enemy thought he was breaking you, but he was actually building you. He sharpened the very sword that will now cut through his plans. You have survived things that others would have surrendered to. You've walked through fires that should have left you ashes. Yet, here you are, glowing with a quiet resilience. That glow isn't pride, it's evidence of preservation. You are the testimony of a God who turns threats into training. Sometimes you wondered, why me? The answer is simple, because your life carries influence beyond what you can see. When you rise, others remember they can too. When you keep faith in the face of fear, others find courage. The enemy attacks you to silence many, not just you. That's why your endurance matters, it echoes. And there's something else. The enemy fears your awakening. The moment you realize that the same Spirit who raised Christ from the dead lives inside you, his intimidation loses power. Darkness can't dwell where revelation stands. Once you understand authority, fear can no longer manipulate you. You are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from it. You are not begging for deliverance, you are walking in it. The victory was written before your battle began. Every attack was already factored into your destiny. Heaven didn't panic when you fell, it planned for your rise. When the enemy whispers, "You're not strong enough," remember, you never needed to be. Strength was never your source, surrender was. The power that defeats darkness doesn't come from striving, but from standing. Every time you refuse to quit, you declared war without words. You are not cursed, you are commissioned. The pressure you feel isn't punishment, it's purpose pressing to the surface. The intensity of your battles only reveals the magnitude of your calling. Diamonds are only formed under crushing weight. And that's exactly how heaven forged you. So breathe. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to explain why you're still standing. You are proof enough. The enemy wanted you to believe that your pain disqualified you. But it's your pain that made you powerful. From now on, when you sense resistance, don't panic, discern. The shaking around you isn't destruction, it's alignment. The old structures are falling because your new season cannot stand on old foundations. Heaven is repositioning you for revelation. You don't have to fear the enemy's schemes. His best effort already failed the moment you decided to keep going. His lies only have power when you agree with them. And today, you choose truth. The war has never been about your weakness, it's always been about your worth. The enemy fears what you might become when you finally see yourself as chosen, empowered, and unstoppable. And now, you're starting to see it. The darkness knows it too. The refining fire, that sacred place where everything unnecessary burns away. You didn't choose it, it chose you. You didn't ask for the heat. Yet heaven trusted you enough to walk through it. The fire was never meant to destroy you, it was meant to define you. At first, it felt like punishment. You wondered why everything around you was collapsing, friendships fading, opportunities disappearing, familiar things slipping through your fingers. It felt cruel, unfair, relentless. But now, looking back, you can see what you couldn't then. God wasn't taking from you, He was taking you somewhere. Every flame was refining your foundation. In life, Gold is never found shining, it's found buried in dirt. And when it's discovered, it must be melted, purified, and reshaped. The melting is messy, the heat unbearable, but it's the only way to remove what doesn't belong. You, chosen one, were placed in that same furnace of faith, and though the flames tried to blind you, they also brought clarity. It is written in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9, I will bring them through the fire and refine them like silver, and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. That verse is not a metaphor to you, it's your story. You've walked through fires that no one saw. You've endured trials that words could never capture. You've cried prayers that sounded more like silence than faith. Yet somehow, through it all, you didn't burn, you became brighter. Fire changes everything it touches. It transforms what's weak into what's worthy. It exposes the difference between what was built on emotion and what was anchored in eternity. You learned that not everyone who started with you was meant to finish with you. The fire revealed truth. It showed you who was genuine and who was just convenient. At times, you thought the fire was too much. You begged for escape, for a quick way out. But God loved you too deeply to release you before the work was complete. He knew the weight of your calling required strength that only refining could give. The flames that frightened you were forming your future. Even when you felt like you couldn't breathe, the fire was breathing purpose into your spirit. You thought it was killing you, but it was birthing something unbreakable inside you: purity, endurance, faith that doesn't collapse when comfort is gone. You may not realize it yet, but the fire also unlocked your authority. Before the burning, you spoke from experience. Now you speak from encounter. You don't just know about God, you've met him in the heat. You know his voice, not from sermons, but from survival. You know his faithfulness, not from stories, but from scars. And that's what makes you unstoppable. You've already been through the flames that others fear. You've faced the kind of pain that strips pretenses away. What remains in you now is authenticity, the rarest form of anointing. When you speak, heaven echoes. When you move, the atmosphere shifts. That's what the fire forged. The refining didn't come to humiliate you, it came to elevate you. It separated you from dependence on people's approval. It taught you that true peace doesn't come from safety, but from surrender. When you finally stopped resisting the process revealed its purpose. Every loss carved room for increase. Every ending was the seed of a beginning. Every season of fire was a season of formation. You were being built, not broken. And now, as you stand on the other side, something within you has changed forever. You don't panic when the flames rise anymore. You've learned that if God allowed the heat, he already prepared the escape. The same fire that once terrified you now testifies for you. Others may still see the ashes, but heaven sees the altar. The smoke around you is not the scent of destruction, it's the aroma of transformation. The fire proved your faith genuine, and genuine faith is indestructible. Remember this truth: God doesn't trust just anyone with fire. He only refines those he intends to use greatly. You were never being punished. You were being prepared to carry glory without pride, to walk in authority without arrogance, to love deeply without fear. You emerged from the flames, not the same person who entered them. You are purer, wiser, stronger, and more dangerous to darkness than ever before. The fire didn't change God's plan, it changed your capacity to carry it. Now the glow you carry isn't from comfort, but from courage. The fire didn't take your light, it revealed it. Brighter, steadier, eternal, unstoppable, forged for divine purpose. The voice in the storm, that's where your authority was born. Not in comfort, not in calm, but in chaos. You once begged God to silence the storm, but instead, He strengthened your voice within it. What once terrified you now obeys you. The very winds that threatened to drown you now carry your testimony across the waters. At first, the storm seemed like punishment. The thunder, the darkness, the crashing waves, it all felt too loud, too wild, too relentless. You asked, "Where are you, God?" But what you didn't realize was that He was never outside the storm, He was inside it, speaking through it. You learned that peace is not the absence of storms, it's the presence of His voice within them. Every lightning strike illuminated a truth. Every wave that rose against you revealed your foundation. The shaking didn't destroy you, it showed that you were anchored in something eternal. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 8, verse 26, "Why are you afraid, O you of little faith?" Then He arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. That moment wasn't just history, it was prophecy. The same authority that calmed the sea lives inside you. When God's Spirit filled you, the voice that silenced storms began to echo through you. You are not a victim of waves, you are a carrier of command. Think about it. Storms don't come to destroy the chosen, they come to display them. The tempest was sent to reveal what you carry. You didn't realize your words had power until the winds started listening. Every prayer you whispered in fear became a decree of faith. You've been through storms that should have drowned you, emotional storms, financial storms, storms of loss and loneliness, but every one of them has shaped your sound. The trembling in your voice turned into authority. The crying turned into clarity. You've learned how to speak peace into panic, how to breathe worship into warfare. When the waves rose higher, so did you. You began to realize that fear doesn't cancel faith, it calls it forth. Each time you stood your ground, heaven took note. Each time you refused to give up, the storm lost a little more of its control. You became the evidence that even in chaos, purpose remains. And though the storm raged, you discovered something beautiful. The storm didn't reveal God's anger, it revealed His intimacy. Because only those He trusts with destiny are trusted with turbulence. He allowed the shaking so you could learn the sound of His voice under pressure. You are no longer afraid of what comes against you, because now you know who stands within you. You carry peace like a command, not like a wish. You no longer beg for calm, you release it. Heaven has trained your tongue to speak life in places where everything once screamed death. So now, when you hear the wind howl, don't panic. Remember who you are. You don't need to run from storms anymore. You were built to stand in them. Your voice, anointed by endurance, now carries the same authority that once calmed your own chaos. Right now, let's mark this moment. Comment, "Peace stands still." And when you write it, you're declaring something deeper than calm. You're proclaiming identity. You're saying, I am no longer moved by fear. I move through faith. You're saying that the storm may surround you, but it cannot silence you. That phrase, peace stands still, means the calm is no longer something you chase, it's something you carry. It's the reflection of the stillness God has built within you through every wave, every trial, every sleepless night. So, when the next storm rises, remember your own words. Let them echo back into your soul as a reminder that peace isn't fragile, it's fierce. You've walked through too much to tremble now. The same wind that once shook you now bows before you. You are not surviving storms anymore. You're mastering them. Heaven doesn't see you as shaken, it sees you as steady. Because now, even in the wildest waves, peace stands still. When you type, peace stands still, you're not describing the weather, you're declaring your spirit. You're saying the storm no longer commands you, you command peace. That's divine authority in motion. Each word you write becomes an anchor. Heaven recognizes faith written with trembling hands. That phrase echoes upward, saying, I have learned to rest even while the waves roar. So write it again. Peace stands still. Let it seal your season. Let it remind you that storms don't define you anymore. They reveal the strength of what God built inside you. The unveiling this is the moment heaven begins to reveal what it has been quietly forming in you. For years, you've been hidden, misunderstood, and underestimated. You walked through darkness that no one saw, cried tears that no one comforted, and yet your heart never stopped reaching for light. That was never weakness. That was the sign of your divine endurance. And now, the covering is lifting. Heaven is gently pulling back the veil, not to show how flawless you are, but to show how faithful God has been. The world will soon see what heaven already knew, that you are not defined by what you lost, but by what you learned in the fire. Unveiling isn't about exposure, it's about expression. It's not about showing off, it's about shining out. The same hands that hid you are the hands now revealing you, because the time of preparation is over. You are ready. The voice of heaven speaks through the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 2. See, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples. But the Lord rises upon you, and his glory appears over you. This is your verse of unveiling. The same glory that rested in silence now radiates from your life. You don't need to chase attention. Light doesn't beg to be seen, it simply shines. And everything around it adjusts. When God unveils you, he doesn't do it with noise, he does it with purpose. Suddenly, doors open that were long shut. People who once ignored you begin to notice. Not because you changed your voice, but because heaven changed your visibility. The light around you becomes undeniable. But remember, when the light rises, it's not a spotlight, it's a sunrise. A spotlight seeks varme, but a sunrise gives warmth. What you carry is meant to warm hearts, not draw crowds. God isn't making you famous, he's making you fruitful. You've been given light to lead others home. So let your unveiling be graceful. Let humility be your fragrance. Don't rush to show the world your transformation. Let the world find you shining naturally, effortlessly, beautifully. The people meant to see you will see you. The doors meant to open will open. You won't need to push, prove, or plead. Just stand and glow. And when this message speaks to your soul, show it a little love. tap the like as a way of saying, "Yes, I see what God is revealing in me." Each like is a candle lit on the altar of gratitude. Share this message if it stirred your spirit, because light multiplies when it travels. You never know whose midnight might be waiting for your sunrise. Subscribe so that your journey stays connected to a flow of words that water the seeds of your faith. Stay where your spirit feels understood, where your growth feels safe. And if at any moment your heart feels led to give, to contribute, let it be like rain falling on fertile soil. Don't give out of pressure, give out of praise. Think of every gift as a ripple spreading warmth, helping these words reach one more weary heart. Your generosity isn't a transaction, it's a translation of gratitude. It says, "What touched me? I want it to touch another." That's how spiritual ecosystems grow. One flame lights another. One drop fills another cup. One act of kindness becomes the bridge someone else needs to cross their own dark night. If you've ever held a candle in the wind, you know how carefully you must shield it with your hands. That's what your support does. It protects the flame so it can keep burning. When you help carry the light, you become part of its miracle. So, like, share, subscribe, and if your spirit leads, donate not as a duty, but as worship. Do it the way a sunrise gives light quietly, faithfully, and freely. Every gesture becomes an echo that whispers, "The light still lives." This unveiling is not a finish line, it's a beginning. What God is revealing through you will continue to unfold, layer by layer, season by season. Some will see the glow and wonder how you survived the storm. You'll smile, because you'll know the storm never buried you, it baptized you. The ashes didn't stain you, they anointed you. You are stepping into visibility, not to impress, but to impact. The unveiling isn't about showing who you are, it's about showing whose you are. The glory you carry now doesn't shout, it shines, and that shine will reach places your words never could. So stand tall, chosen one. The curtain has lifted. The stage is life itself, and heaven is your spotlight. You were hidden for a reason, but you're revealed for a purpose. Let the unveiling begin. The mantle of authority rests lightly on your shoulders now, yet it carries the weight of heaven. You didn't ask for it, you grew into it. Every moment of silence, every tear shed in private, every test of endurance prepared you for this very thing. You are no longer just surviving, you are walking in divine dominion. Authority in the kingdom is not like authority in the world. The world demands control, heaven imparts influence. The world commands with volume, heaven commands with presence. You learned this the hard way, that true power doesn't shout, it stands still. It doesn't seek to impress, it simply is. When you speak now, your words carry weight, not because of eloquence, but because they are forged in obedience. You've seen enough loss to know what matters. You've carried enough burden to speak with compassion. That combination, truth and tenderness, is what gives your voice its authority. Heaven speaks clearly through the book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19. I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. That promise is not poetic, it's prophetic. The authority God placed in you is not symbolic, it's spiritual. You've been given power to confront darkness, not with fear, but with faith. And though the enemy still tries to whisper, you've learned to answer with confidence. You can't touch what's been anointed. Every battle you fought was training for command. The nights you felt powerless were the very nights heaven was transferring strength into your spirit. You didn't realize it then. But while you were breaking, your authority was building. The mantle isn't earned through applause, it's woven through adversity. And now, when you walk into rooms, things shift. Not because people notice you, but because spirits recognize what you carry. The atmosphere bends to those who walk in truth. You've learned that divine authority isn't about position, it's about posture, the humility to bow before God, and the courage to stand before giants. Authority isn't domination, it's alignment. It's heaven's way of saying, I trust you with my heart. It means you carry the responsibility of representing his character, not just his power. You don't use it to control people, you use it to serve them. You speak not to be heard, but to bring healing. There was a time when you doubted your ability to lead, to speak, to influence. But God doesn't choose the perfect, he perfects the chosen. Every time you said, I can't, he replied, I already equipped you. You've been walking in power longer than you've realized it. Just took time for your mind to catch up to what your spirit already knew. You now understand that authority begins with surrender. When you stopped fighting for recognition, you made room for revelation. When you stopped defending your worth, you allowed God to define it. The greatest authority flows through those who no longer need to prove themselves, and with this mantle comes discernment. You sense shifts in the spirit before anyone else does. You can feel peace or tension in a room without words being spoken. That sensitivity isn't weakness, it's warfare awareness. Heaven trusts those who listen more than they speak. The authority on your life will not always make sense to others. Some will question it, some will resist it. But remember, oil doesn't need permission to flow. When God anoints you, no opinion can unanoint you. The same hand that placed the mantle on you will sustain it. Use this authority wisely. Speak life where others curse. Bring calm where others create chaos. Let your words carry grace. Even when they must correct, power without love becomes pride. But power with love becomes healing. You've been refined enough to carry both. And when you face the next battle, don't be afraid. The same authority that calmed the storm, that raised the dead, that conquered the grave, now walks within you. You are heaven's representative on earth, sent not to dominate, but to demonstrate what divine power looks like through humility. The mantle you carry isn't heavy, it's holy. It's not a burden, it's a blessing, and it fits you perfectly, because it was tailored by God himself. You've grown into it through grace, and now it rests on you like light, steady, sure, unstoppable. Carry it gently. As one holds a flame in the wind, protect it, honor it. Let it guide others without ever boasting of its glow. This mantle isn't yours alone, it's a shared inheritance. Every act of kindness, every word of truth, keeps heaven's authority flowing through human hearts. The prophetic sign, those moments when heaven begins to speak in patterns, symbols, and confirmations that only your spirit can recognize. You've noticed it lately, haven't you? Certain numbers, repeated dreams, songs that play at the exact right moment, whispers that seem to come from nowhere, yet land directly in your heart. That is not coincidence, it's communication. Heaven has a language, and right now, it's speaking to you. When God wants to capture your attention, He speaks through signs. Sometimes it's a quiet stirring. Other times a sequence so obvious that even your doubts can't ignore it. These signs aren't meant to scare you. They're meant to comfort you, to let you know that you're seen, guided, and deeply loved. The Word of God declares in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision awaits an appointed time, though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." And you've been waiting for confirmation. And now heaven is saying, you're closer than you think. The signs you've been noticing are not random. They're divine markers pointing to a promise about to unfold. Heaven is aligning events, people, and timing in ways that go beyond human logic. You might have dismissed some of them at first. The clock that always shows the same numbers, the message that appears right when you're about to give up, the feeling that someone is praying for you from afar. Yet the more you pay attention, the more undeniable it becomes. Heaven has been leaving breadcrumbs along your path. Each sign is like a heartbeat from God, reminding you, I haven't forgotten you. Sometimes it's subtle, a breeze that feels like peace after prayer. Other times it's bold, a breakthrough that arrives right after you almost stopped believing. God knows exactly how to speak your language. The prophetic signs are never about superstition, they're about synchronization. They remind you that your life is moving according to divine rhythm, not random chance. When you see these signs, don't chase them, cherish them. They are not your destination, they are your confirmation. Think about the way sunlight filters through clouds. It doesn't force its way, it finds its opening. That's how divine signs work. They slip through the cracks of ordinary days, touching your spirit, softly but unmistakably. You don't need to strive to hear God. You only need to stay still enough to notice Him. And now, as this season shifts, a new sign is being released to you. It's a call to awareness, to alignment. The things you once thought were coincidences are now becoming coordinates, guiding you to your next assignment. Heaven is mapping your steps, marking moments that say, this is the way, walk in it. Law, but signs are never the goal. Obedience is. When the prophetic signs appear, don't stop to admire them. Move in the direction they point. Revelation without action becomes delay. God reveals so that you can respond. The sign isn't proof of arrival, it's proof of instruction. And now, if this message resonates deep within your spirit, respond to the signal heaven is sending. Comment 444. This isn't about numbers, it's about agreement. That number represents divine alignment and heavenly order. When you type 444, you're declaring, I am in alignment with what God is doing. I trust His timing, and I'm walking in step with His will. All des. Each time you write it, you're planting agreement into the atmosphere. You're saying, I'm awake now. I see the signs. I won't doubt what heaven is confirming. You are stepping into a rhythm where everything begins to make sense, not because you control it, but because you've surrendered to it. The prophetic signs you've seen are not accidents. They are heaven's fingerprints. They mean the wait is almost over. They mean what you prayed for is closer than your fear suggests. You don't need to figure out every detail. You only need to stay aligned. So when the next sign comes, a number, a moment, A whisper. Don't question it. Smile. Whisper back. I see you, God. Because in that small exchange, heaven and earth connect again. The divine plan continues, and your faith becomes the bridge. This is your sign not to strive, but to stay, not to worry, but to watch. God's timing is never late, and his signs never lie. When you type 444, imagine it as light spilling into your path. You're not predicting the future, you're agreeing with heaven's rhythm, trusting divine order to lead your every step. Each 444 you write becomes a silent amen, a heartbeat between you and God saying, I see your signs, and I choose to walk in your timing. Alignment has begun. The reversal. It's the moment heaven turns the story upside down. The chapter where everything that once worked against you begins to work for you. For so long, it felt like life was unfair, like the scales were tilted and the blessings kept passing you by. But in the quiet, God was preparing a turnaround so divine that no one, not even you, would be able to take credit for it. Reversal doesn't always happen suddenly. Sometimes it starts in whispers. The same doors that once closed begin to open with ease. The same people who dismissed you start to remember your name. The same places that rejected you begin to make space for you. It's not luck, it's justice. Divine and deliberate. You've been misunderstood, misused, and mistreated, but none of it was wasted. God kept the record. Every tear, every heartbreak, every act of endurance has been stored in heaven's memory. There comes a moment when heaven says, enough. That's when reversal begins. It's not revenge, it's restoration. It's not payback, it's promise fulfilled. As written in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 11, you turned my mourning into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. That scripture isn't metaphorical for you, it's personal. You've mourned long enough. You've walked in ashes long enough. Now, God is changing your garments. The same heart that once broke in the night will laugh in the daylight. The reversal is not just external, it's internal. He's restoring your confidence, your joy, your ability to believe again. Reversal often begins quietly. When you stop forcing what no longer fits, you stopped chasing validation, stopped begging to be understood. And that's when God began to move. When you let go, he took hold. What once looked like rejection now reveals itself as redirection. The things that walked away made space for what was meant to stay. When heaven reverses things, it doesn't just repair, it multiplies. God doesn't return what you lost in equal measure. He restores in abundance. Where there was scarcity, there will be overflow. Where there was pain, there will be purpose. The math of heaven never matches the logic of men. It always multiplies grace where there once was grief. And the beauty of divine reversal is that it never needs your defense. You won't have to prove that you were right. God will make it undeniable. The same voices that once doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge what he's done in your life. Not to glorify you, but to glorify him. Every hidden seed you sowed in faith is about to break the surface. Every no you heard was protecting your yes. Every door that closed was heaven, redirecting your steps toward the one designed with your name carved into it. You were not forgotten, you were being repositioned for the reveal. Reversal also teaches humility. Because when you've walked through loss, you learn gratitude deeply. When you've known silence, you cherish the sound of promise. When you've carried disappointment, you value joy differently. You no longer take blessings lightly, because you understand the cost of waiting. Now, as things begin to turn, remember the posture that carried you through the pain: gratitude, humility, and faith. Don't rush the reversal. Let it unfold at heaven's pace. The God who allowed the delay will ensure the reward arrives on time. Every story written in tears is being rewritten in triumph. This season of reversal will not only bless you, it will heal you. The same places that broke you will become altars of testimony. The same road that led you through wilderness will now lead you into abundance. What you thought was the ending was simply the turning page. Soon, the world will look at your life and wonder how everything changed so suddenly. But you will know it wasn't sudden at all. It was years of unseen faith, silent battles, and sacred perseverance, all coming together in perfect timing. And when you see it unfold, smile, because you'll recognize the gentle humor of a God who writes plot twists no one expects. The last will become first. The forgotten will be remembered. The rejected will rise. The story you thought was over is only beginning again, this time in glory. Every closed door now makes sense. Every delay reveals design. What once felt cruel was carefully crafted mercy, guiding you toward divine alignment and quiet redemption. The tables have turned without noise. Favor arrives like dawn, gentle yet unstoppable. What was taken from you returns purified, multiplied, made ready for purpose. Your story is proof that endings are illusions. Nothing truly lost in God remains missing. It only waits for resurrection in the right season. The covenant of obedience, this is where destiny stops being theory and becomes reality. All the revelation, all the promises, all the anointing mean little without obedience. God can pour out favor, open doors, and speak prophecy. But obedience is the key that unlocks what revelation only reveals. It's the bridge between promise and manifestation. You've learned that obedience doesn't always feel glorious. Sometimes it looks like walking away from what feels right to follow what is right. Sometimes it means saying no to good things so you can say yes to the God thing. The world teaches convenience. Heaven teaches commitment. And obedience is commitment in action. According to the writings in the first book of Samuel, chapter 15, verse 22, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. And those words are not a rule, they are revelation. Obedience is not about control, it's about trust. When God asks you to move, it's not because He's testing your willpower, it's because He's aligning your path with purpose. Every command from heaven carries an unseen blessing on the other side. There have been times when obedience cost you comfort. You followed God's voice and lost people, opportunities, or status. You questioned whether you had heard Him correctly because the path grew lonelier, not lighter. But what you didn't realize was that obedience always empties you before it elevates you. God removes what can't go with you so you can rise unburdened. Obedience often looks like silence when others expect reaction. It looks like patience when everything in you wants to push forward. It's holding peace when your flesh screams for answers. But in those quiet acts of surrender, heaven moves mountains unseen. You may not see results immediately, But every act of obedience plants a seed that will one day bloom into testimony. The covenant of obedience isn't a contract you sign, it's a posture you live in. It's saying yes, even when you don't have all the details. It's trusting that God's way, though slower, is sure. You obey not to earn favor, but because you already have it. Love motivates what fear cannot sustain. When you obey, heaven takes responsibility for the outcome. That's the power of covenant. You do the trusting, God does the transforming. What feels like risk is actually refuge, because you're stepping under divine covering. The storms that destroy others cannot touch those walking in alignment. There's a quiet strength that grows in obedient hearts. You stop needing signs and start walking by faith. You stop bargaining with God and start believing Him. You realize obedience is not losing control. It's returning it to the one who never fails. Sometimes obedience will make you misunderstood. People might call it foolishness or fanaticism. But obedience has always looked strange before it made sense. Noah built a boat under a clear sky. Abraham walked away from everything familiar. Mary said yes to a miracle she couldn't explain. And your obedience, too, will one day make sense to those who mocked it. You are in covenant with a God who rewards surrender with stability. Every time you choose obedience over impulse, you make room for miracles. Every time you trust His voice more than your own reasoning, you invite heaven's strategy to override human logic. Even in moments when you feel nothing, obedience keeps your spirit alive. It becomes your declaration that faith still stands. Even when feelings fall silent, you obey not because it's easy, but because it's eternal. And slowly, you begin to see the fruit. The closed doors start to make sense. The detours reveal direction. The losses turn into lessons. You look back and realize that every yes carried you closer to destiny, and every no protected you from destruction. The covenant of obedience isn't built on fear, it's built on love. Love listens. Love trusts. Love follows. And when love leads, obedience no longer feels like surrender, it feels like alignment. You find peace, not in understanding everything, but in knowing you are walking with the one who does. So, keep listening, keep trusting, keep walking. Even when it's quiet, even when it's costly, stay obedient. Because obedience is where heaven meets earth, where purpose breathes, and where promises come alive. When you obey, heaven begins to rearrange what you could never control. Paths straighten, hearts soften, and what once resisted, you starts to yield. Obedience whispers louder than ambition. It tells creation, I'm aligned with divine order. As every act of obedience builds unseen architecture in the spirit. You are constructing bridges for blessings to cross, even when you can't see results. Heaven is recording every step of your surrendered faith. The army of the rejected, those who were cast aside by the world but handpicked by heaven. You are not alone in your journey. All over the world, others, like you, are rising people who were misunderstood, overlooked, or underestimated. They carry the same fire, the same resilience, the same scars that have become symbols of survival. Heaven has been gathering them quietly, like scattered embers waiting for wind. And now, the wind is here. You are part of something divine, a movement not built on fame or noise, but on purpose. The rejected ones are being repositioned. The very people the world pushed out are becoming the vessels through which God's light flows freely. You are not a mistake in the plan. You are the plan. It was written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 7. Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion. And instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. That promise is the anthem of this rising generation. Every rejection has been repurposed. Every failure now fuels faith. What once hurt now heals others. The rejected ones are the reformers. The voices that tremble but still speak. The hearts that have been broken but still beat for hope. Look around you, though. You may not see their faces. You can feel their presence. There's a global pulse awakening through people like you. It's quiet yet unstoppable. Humble yet holy. It's not about who leads or who follows. It's about who loves, who forgives, who endures. The army of the rejected doesn't march with weapons. It marches with wounds that have become wisdom. It carries compassion as its banner and grace as its shield. Its anthem is not revenge, but redemption. Every soldier in this army has bled, but none bleed in vain. And now, as you hear these words, something inside you knows, this is your tribe. You've searched for belonging, and heaven is whispering. You've found it. This community is not defined by platforms, but by purpose. We are bound not by popularity, but by pain that turned into power. If this message finds your heart, write it in the comments. I rise again. No, not to impress, but to express, to say, rejection didn't end me, it revealed me. Your words are like seeds. When others read them, courage begins to grow in their own souls. If this message touches your spirit, let your light respond. Tap the like, not for applause, but as a spark, a way of saying, I'm part of this flame. Every like is a heartbeat in this growing family of faith. Share this message as if you were passing a torch across the night sky. Somewhere, someone is still in darkness, waiting to see your light flicker and think, maybe I can rise too. And subscribe, not out of habit, but as an act of belonging, as if you were planting a flag that says, I won't walk this path alone anymore. And if your heart feels a gentle pull, give, not because you must, but because love overflows. Think of every offering as a drop of oil poured into this collective lamp. Together, we keep it burning not for profit, but for purpose. Your giving becomes poetry, a silent prayer that says, keep the light alive for others. No, there's a beauty in voluntary generosity. It's the language of the free child. It says, I have received something sacred, and I want to see it reach farther than me. No one can command that. It must rise from the heart. When you give out of gratitude, it ceases to be charity, it becomes communion. So, like, share, comment, subscribe, and if your heart whispers it, donate not to build a monument, but to sustain a movement. This is how the rejected ones rise together, through shared light, through small acts of kindness that echo across eternity. The world may not understand this kind of unity, but heaven does, because what binds us isn't perfection, it's purpose. What fuels us isn't fame, it's faith. Each one of us is a flicker in the great flame of restoration, and together, we burn bright enough to guide others home. You are not forgotten, and you are not fighting alone. This is the sound of the chosen rising, the misfits finding meaning, the wounded becoming warriors. The army of the rejected stands tall not to conquer, but to heal. Every word you share becomes a spark in someone's night. Hope spreads quietly, like dawn, from one soul to another, until the whole sky begins to glow. Keep your light steady. The world needs the warmth you carry. Together, every small act of faith becomes a constellation, guiding the lost safely home. The crown and the cross, two symbols that seem opposite, yet in truth, they complete each other. The world loves the crown, but runs from the cross. Heaven, however, never separates them. You cannot carry the weight of glory without first enduring the weight of sacrifice. You cannot reign without learning how to kneel. The journey of the chosen has always been marked by both pain and purpose. You have learned this not from sermons, but from seasons. The crown looked distant when the cross felt heavy. You wondered if the suffering was worth it, if obedience was still worth the cost. And in those moments, heaven whispered what only the refined can understand. This is not punishment, it's preparation. The cross is not a symbol of defeat. It is the process of transformation. It strips away pride, illusion, and everything that cannot survive glory. It forces you to lay down your need to be seen and embrace your call to serve. Before the crown is worn on the head, it must first be formed in the heart, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 24. Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me. You have carried your cross through seasons that felt unbearable. The betrayal of those you trusted, the weight of unanswered prayers, the ache of being unseen. These were not random trials. They were chisels in the hands of a master sculptor. The cross carved your character until you could hold the crown without it crushing you. The world teaches that crowns are for victors, but heaven teaches that they are for servants. True royalty in the kingdom of God is not about being exalted, it's about being emptied. It's about giving when you're tired, forgiving when you're wounded, loving when you're lonely. That's where the crown begins to shine through humility. There were times when the cross felt endless. You prayed for relief, but heaven gave you resilience instead. You thought endurance meant delay, but it was actually development. Each day you carried the cross. You learned compassion for others who carried theirs. You learned to see through pain without becoming it. Now, as you look back, you can see that the cross didn't kill you, it crowned you. It taught you patience, empathy, and the strength to stand quietly when misunderstood. The nails of life did not fasten you to failure. They fixed your faith in place. The cross anchored your identity, so the crown would never inflate your ego. The crown is not the reward for surviving the cross. It is the reflection of what the cross produced within you. It represents the authority that comes from endurance, the peace that comes from surrender, the wisdom that comes from wounds. You are not crowned because you fought harder. You are crowned because you surrendered deeper. And the crown, when given by heaven, is different from the ones offered by men. The world crowns you for what you achieve. God crowns you for what you overcome. The world crowns you for your success. God crowns you for your surrender. The world's crowns fade with time, but heaven's crowns are woven from eternal light. You are now learning to walk with both the cross that humbles and the crown that honors. The balance of pain and promise makes your walk authentic. You no longer resent the cross because you see what it created in you. You wear your scars like jewels now, because they prove that grace has touched you. Never forget, the cross is temporary, but the crown is forever. One day, every tear shed beneath the cross will shine like diamonds in your eternal crown. Until then, walk as one who has already been chosen, already been refined, already been trusted with both weight and wonder, because in the kingdom, those who bow lowest beneath the cross rise highest beneath the crown. When you carry both cross and crown, you become balance, incarnate, humble yet powerful, gentle yet unshakable. You no longer seek thrones, you seek purpose. Your quiet endurance becomes heaven's loudest testimony. Ich scar glimmers beneath divine light, reminding creation that beauty is born from breaking. The crown does not erase pain, it redeems it, turning every wound into a window for grace. So walk forward, radiant yet rooted. Let your crown remind you of honor, and your cross remind you of humanity. Together, they declare, glory is not given, it is grown. You are the living proof that surrender leads to strength. Every step with your cross, every tear beneath your crown, has written eternity's evidence upon your life, heaven's royalty shaped through earthly resilience. The return of the chosen, the moment when everything you have endured begins to make sense. The long nights, the wilderness seasons, the prayers that seemed unanswered, the battles that left you trembling, all of it was forming the foundation for this moment. You are not who you were when this began. Something sacred has been reborn inside you. The return is not about stepping back into the world the same way you left it. It's about stepping forward with new vision, new authority, and new peace. You are returning not as the wounded, but as the wise. The pain that once drained you now fuels your purpose. The silence that once scared you has become your sanctuary. When God restores the chosen, He doesn't just bring them back, He brings them back better. You are walking proof that redemption is stronger than ruin. You may have been broken, but now your cracks glow with light. You've learned how to walk gently, speak truthfully, and love deeply. You no longer chase validation because you finally understand your value. As written in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. No, that promise now breathes in your life. Everything the enemy devoured, your time, your joy, your confidence is being returned in ways that defy logic. Heaven is restoring not only what you lost, but also what you became in the losing. You are not being rewound, you are being renewed. Restoration doesn't mean going backward, it means rising forward. God never rebuilds the same structure twice. When He restores, He redesigns. The return of the chosen is not a repetition, it's a resurrection. You are walking into newness, carrying the wisdom of old pain, but free from its weight. You'll notice that even your pace has changed. You no longer run to prove anything. You walk with assurance, like one who knows where they're going. The battles that used to shake you now strengthen you. The storms that once terrified you now recognize you. You've become the calm in chaos, the anchor in uncertainty. This return isn't loud, it's luminous. The chosen don't need fanfare. Their presence alone carries proof of the divine. People won't always understand it, but they'll feel it. They'll sense something unexplainable, peace that doesn't make sense, authority that doesn't demand, love that doesn't waver. That's the mark of the returned. You were hidden, then refined, and now revealed. But revelation always comes with responsibility. The return is not just about elevation, it's about embodiment. You carry what you've learned into every space you enter. You become the reminder that endurance was not in vain. You are the evidence that faith works, that grace transforms, that God restores. This is why your story matters. Someone watching your return will find hope for their own. Someone standing where you once stood will whisper, "If they can rise again, so can I." That is the quiet miracle of restoration. It multiplies. Your healing becomes someone else's hint of possibility. You no longer need to explain how you survived. The glow around you tells the story. The peace in your eyes testifies louder than words. What once wounded you now worships through you. Your return is the living sermon that endurance leads to elevation. And in this new chapter, you will find balance. No more striving to prove. No more running to please. You move at the rhythm of grace, now steady, peaceful, strong. The same hands that held you in your lowest moments are now guiding you into your highest calling. So walk forward with quiet confidence. The journey didn't break you, it built you. The scars didn't steal your beauty, they revealed it. You are not just coming back, you are coming through. You are the evidence that chosen ones may fall, but they never stay fallen. Heaven doesn't end their story in defeat, it ends it in glory. This is the return of the chosen, not a grand entrance, but a gentle awakening. You step into your future, not demanding to be seen, but determined to serve. Your victory is not shouted, it's shown in how peacefully you now exist. You've been remade, redeemed, and returned for such a time as this. You are walking evidence that grace is stronger than grief. Every breath you take is a declaration that purpose survived the fire and now wears peace as its crown. The return of the chosen is never loud, it is luminous. You carry light, not to be admired, but to awaken it in others who are still finding their way. You've reached the end of this journey, but not the end of your story. Something inside you has shifted, you feel it, don't you? The weight has lifted, and in its place, a calm certainty rests. You now know that you were never forgotten, never rejected, never alone. Every scar has meaning. Every silence has shaped you, and every storm has strengthened the voice inside you. This message was never about perfection, it was about purpose. You were meant to find this moment, to be reminded of who you are and who walks with you. Let these words stay with you like footprints in the sand, gentle but lasting. And if this story stirred something in your soul, don't let it fade into the noise of tomorrow. Let it live. Let it travel. Let it light another heart the way it lit yours. Tap the like as if you were leaving a fingerprint on eternity, a way of saying, "This spoke to me, and I'm still standing." Endo. Share it the way one candle touches another, quietly, freely, knowing that light multiplies when it moves. Someone out there is searching for the same hope you've just found. Subscribe, not out of routine, but as an act of connection. Stay close to where your spirit feels seen, where your faith feels fed. This space was made for you, and if your heart ever whispers, give, do it as a seed, not an obligation. Think of every offering as a drop of water falling onto the roots of this message, helping it grow and reach another soul that needs it. Finally, leave a comment, just a few honest words from your heart. Write what you feel. what this journey awakened in you. Your story might be the spark that keeps someone else holding on. The story continues, not on this page, but in you. You are the living proof that rejection can become redemption, and endings can become beginnings. Keep walking, keep shining, and never forget, you are chosen, and the light within you still has places to go.